Travelers. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kahi.
And we're the Genshin Guys. Welcome. All this podcast is for fans of Genshin Impact, the mobile game made by Hoyoverse, also known as MiHoYo. Here we talk about our opinions, experiences, and dreams about Genshin Impact. If you like our show, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the podcast. So before we get started, Kahi, how are you doing today?
Doing rather well. I had a really busy week in gaming, really busy week in anime, and I feel like I have a second job after my first full-time job. Because like, I go from one game, immediately done, I go to the next game, immediately done with all my stuff, go to the next game. Okay, I can squeeze in at least one episode tonight. At the end of the episode, I just fall into bed and sleep. Wow, there's a lot going on.
I feel you.
A lot of new shows because the summer season is now coming on. We have the new Fontaine coming up pretty soon. I'm like in the middle of the season of Destiny 2 content, Honkai Star Rail.
Yep.
I finally got Jingyuan.
Nice.
So now I have to level him up.
Yep, and then you gotta get Silver
There's
Wolf.
so much. Nah, I think I'm good. I'm gonna wait for Kafka. Yeah, I think there's a lot on my plate. A lot to do, but it's all good stuff. What about you? How's your week going?
My week is going pretty alright. Just trying to get back into the swing of things since I was out of town last week. And yeah, I just like trying to do voice acting stuff and a lot of preparation for upcoming Twitch stuff, but also Discord stuff, just so much stuff. But I've been playing a lot of games as well. I've been playing so I just started playing Street Fighter 6 last night, and I got Diablo, so I'm gonna play that with some friends. I've been playing some Omega Strikers here and there, Star Rail, Genshin. I've been playing a lot of Genshin. I've been playing Genshin the most though. So yeah, I kind of like
should be.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean that's our namesake, right? But Genshin has just like recaptivated me with like, I mean, not only because of the Yoimiya Story Quest, who's my favorite character, but also just the freedom of Genshin and being able to do stuff. I want to catch up my North America account. There's so much stuff I'm doing, but Star Rail is kind of at a lull. There's a new patch coming out soon, but it takes so long to get materials to level up that, I pretty much just go in, do my material stuff, and then I back out, and I have time to do other stuff, like going to Genshin, which is nice. The nice part about Star Rail, it doesn't take up your time the way that Genshin does, and you can kind of just play it in small bursts instead of having to sit down and explore and do all this stuff. But, I mean, I love both games. And all the other games I'm playing too are super great. But busy. I totally feel you. So, now that we've talked about that, I'd like to introduce today's topics. So, we're going to talk about our weeks in Genshin, Genshin news, Yoimiya Story Quest, Part 2, and the TCG Event Story. So, the flagship event for this, the Duel, the Summoner Summit. We're going to talk about that event as well. And then we're going to, of course, do our last wish segment and community discussion question. And it's going to be a great time. So hopefully you all enjoyed today's episode. Before we get started, if you haven't already joined the Discord, we want to hear from you. Join us on the Discord. Talk to us. We talk a lot about Genshin. We talk a lot about Honkai Star Rail. We talk about other stuff. Just come join us. We do weekly camera contests, and we're fun-loving and wholesome, respectable community is one way I like to put it, but really great. My mods have been fantastic recently as well. So if you'd like to join us, we're going to start doing things, events in this space as well. So we're going to do like our first karaoke night, I think, next week. So if you want to join us, jump on in. Okay, so let's get started with our first segment, which is our weeks in Genshin. Alright, Kahi, how has your week in Genshin Impact been?
So I've been going through my characters. I'm trying to pick out like a good team that would do well with Hydro, because Fontaine. And I'm realizing I really like Superconduct and electricity and water. But then I was looking through some characters that I haven't used in a while, and I saw that Kaching was still at level 80, even though everyone else is at level 90. I try to get like my main damage dealers to max level because they can do the most damage.
Yep.
And all the supports I can keep them at 70 or 80. So this was in the middle of me trying to figure out who to pair like Baiju with. And I typically like to go for thematic teams or like from the same nation. So I'm realizing, okay, Baiju, oh wait, Kaching would work. So now that I have that, I like Hyper Bloom, so I have to get like a Hydro character in there. So I got Yalan, and then something that kind of balances it out. I haven't used in a while. I haven't used Layla in a good team, and I have like double shields. I have Dendro application. I have like great damage support, and I have Kaching. So I had to level up Kaching, and I finally got her to 90. And I'm getting all these artifacts for Kaching, and I just cannot get anything other than like energy recharge for her. She barely has any crit. She has okay attack, but she's not doing as much damage as I want her to do. So
Okay.
when I went into artifact farming, I went to the new domain with the Hydro artifacts, and I'm like, okay, whatever artifacts that I don't like, I'll just put into the strong box. I'm not kidding you. 2 days in a row, every artifact I've gotten from that Hydro domain, is actually really good. Like double HP percentage and like stat. I have like Hydro damage bonus.
I
I
thought you were
have
gonna
like
say they were bad.
crit
Like,
and crit. No, they were all good. I can't
wow.
re-roll them. So I'm like, okay, I have to keep this. Oh, I have to keep this. I have to keep this now too. I can't get rid of any of them, which is great, but also not great because I'm trying to make a good team now.
And you
So
want
I'm doing
fodder.
really good prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted fuel to like re-roll, but they're just all really good artifacts. I don't know if they did something to this particular one
Now you just got
because
lucky, man.
all the other
It just happens.
probably, but 2 days in a row
Yeah, that
of like
happens.
using all my resin. Wow,
You're just
lucky.
the gotcha gods shine upon you.
RNG,
Lord
RNG.
Jesus, spray.
Well, so that's me, just farming inadvertently, farming artifacts for the new characters while trying to upgrade my old ones. I really like this team, Kaching, Baiju, Yelan, Layla, because their skills are pretty short cooldowns.
They're fun.
And so I'm always getting, there's always a reaction. There's always some kind of like elemental mastery effect going on, which is great. Really fast pace. But yeah, what you been up to?
Yeah, so I've been mostly just living in the Emblem of Severed Fate dungeon, the domain that also has Shimenawas. I've just been farming that a lot as well.
It's the best domain.
It is
Still
really
to this
good,
day.
and it's even more relevant because like, yeah, I'm trying to level up my supports and trying to make sure that I have the right stats, and I also need fodder, so I'm just rolling. And right now is the time of Yoimiya. It's Yoimiya Story. Yoimiya is my favorite character. She's on the banner right now. I ended up rolling on my NA account and hitting pity, but I didn't realize how close I was. I just ended up hitting pity. I think I won the 50-50, and I got Yoimiya on my NA account. And I just remembered, like, since I've been meeting people, since I've been living in North America again, I really want to level up my NA account so I can get to at least world level 8 so I can do world level 8 stuff, because right now I'm only world level 7 and I'm like level AR 47. I gotta start leveling it up, and I gotta catch up to the story, because I want to be able to do co-op stuff, like, even with you included. So I got Yoimiya on my main account. I just thought, you know what, I don't have many characters on this account. I don't do Welkins and Battle Pass on this account, so I have before, but I don't anymore. And so now, like, just to catch me up in power difference, I actually balled out a little bit, and I ended up getting Thundering Pulse, Yoimiya's weapon, on my NA account, which I have 0 5-star bows on my main account, but I have 2 5-star bows.
Oh,
I
rip.
have Thundering Pulse and Amos bow on my American account. And in the process, I actually ended up getting 2 of Yaimiko's weapon, the Kagura's Verity. I actually got one, and then I did the next
Got
10
two
roll.
of them?
Yeah, I did one, did a 10 roll, and got
Oh,
another one.
man.
But I didn't want those. I wanted Yoimiya's weapon. So, yeah. So like I said, I ended up balling out a little bit there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using that power spike and taking advantage of those things that I do have for my account. And I think it's really fun because, like, when you have all the characters, you kind of have to, like, decide resources. Yes, it's more fun, you have more options, but it also takes more time to get to people, to get your characters to a more playable level, right? Like, especially if you're trying to do Spiral Abyss. But because my NA account has way more limited characters, I can kind of like hyper focus on certain characters. So I'm gonna hyper focus on Yoimiya. I'm gonna hyper focus on any characters I can use that can use Yaimiko's weapon, because I ended up getting that. So I'm gonna use what I do have, and build teams around that. And looking forward to it. It's like really fun. So I'm planning on learning Spiral Abyss and learning how to do it better. I'm still like pretty much a beginner at Spiral Abyss. I need help to for people to help me kind of optimize team builds and rotations and stuff, but I want to like get better at it so that I can also give advice to other people, and I can do like build reviews and like all this stuff. I really do enjoy that. I just haven't been as into it up until now, but I'm really excited, and I'm really excited for the wave of characters that's going to come with the next, big patch 4.0 for Genshin with Fontaine, and I want to be knowledgeable enough. So I've been working on that. I'm going to watch some like Spiral Abyss videos. I'm going to be streaming myself doing Spiral Abyss probably multiple times this week. I'll probably do mine on my main account. I'll probably do my wife's, and then I'll probably try mine on my NA account. Even though my characters are not that high level, I'm gonna see what I can get to on that account.
This Spiral Abyss is pretty tough.
Yeah, I've been hearing about how
all
hard
the
it
Abyss
is.
selectors they freeze and they like superconduct. I hate being frozen. I don't like that. I can't just you can spam the button, but I feel like you still have to just stand there and watch.
Yeah, so and even when you spam the button, you like jump out. You know what I mean? Like you accidentally jump out and like
and I was using Dia too. We all know what happens when Dia jumps.
Yep. No more ability.
No
more ultimate. Yeah. So so I'm really excited about that. Oh, on my NA account, I also ended up getting C6 Bennett, and since I have Dia and her weapon on my NA account too, I can like take advantage of the pyro damage buff. I don't have C1 like you do, but I'm just trying to buff my Dia as much as I can. She's my strongest character. So, here we go. Wow, it's been a fun week, honestly, in Genshin, and I'm just excited for what's on the horizon. Yes, so I will also need help leveling my NA account and doing domains. So, if you join the Discord, we can do some co-op or something, and it should be fun. Now, so let's move on to Genshin news. Okay, not that much Genshin news so far. We've had the TCG event going on, so they improved some of the card plazas features in the Hoyoverse app, I believe, or the website for TCG stuff. There's more card information on there. But other than that, birthdays we had. So we actually missed one, pointed out by Pimzo Balto, our resident Kale main. Kale's birthday was on May 8th. So I believe we probably recorded an episode that day or something. So we probably didn't see it. But yes, May 8th was Kale's birthday, which is already a month past now. But Fischl's birthday was on May 26th. And Paimon and Ito's birthday is on June 1st, I guess. I know Ito for sure. That's actually
hilarious.
But like,
the two most comical characters.
But like
ever.
Paimon's birthday? Like I never even thought about that. Like Paimon's birthday. Like what does that mean? Like does she know when she was born? Like is that the day the Traveler found her? Like
well, this is like outside the game. So this is because they're talking to us outside the game. They're talking to characters, or they're talking to like the fans. This is not so much like a canon lore thing. Because in the game, I don't know if there's anything such as January or February, because it's technically like different times. I guess.
Yeah.
A different type of calendar.
I mean,
they have like the 24-hour clock, but I mean, time's a little bit different. Yes. Yeah. So okay, well, I'm pretty sure this is just for the fans.
Either way, like I wonder why. If it is for the fans, why Paimon and Ito on the same day? Like, is there significance to that? If you know, let us know.
They're the comical relief characters.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they should have the same birthday when there's a million other days during the year that they could have not the same birthday. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could be like either some kind of like what are they called? There's like there's years that you're born in like the Chinese zodiac calendar. There's like certain like months that represent like a certain
right, but you don't know why, right? Like you don't off the top of your head, right? So if there's anybody out there that knows why they might think that Ito and Paimon have the same birthday on June 1st, let us know, because I can't imagine why. So yeah, and so those are the birthdays. So but by the way, I don't think we talked about it since she came out. Kirara impressions. Do you get Kirara, Kahi? Did we talk about this?
I actually did not get Kirara because I've been saving for like this entire time.
Oh, hopefully you get her in the last wish today.
Yeah, because I have a lot of Dendro characters, or I mean, yeah, I have enough, but Kirara it's a four. She's a 4-star, which is
She's a
not
4-star?
everyone clamors after a 4-star.
She's a
Wait,
4-star?
Kirara?
Just kidding. She's a 4-star. You're right.
Yeah. But honestly, I do like her normal attacks. They're short, but they have like a flow to it.
Yep. She like flips
They're
around
not-
a bunch.
They actually do look like they do a lot of damage too, because she does like claw attacks instead of just like.
Yeah, I love her charge attack.
They
It's
look
like a
good.
dual claw
Yes.
attack.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do like her ability when she turns into a cat box, which is hilarious.
so it sounds like you should pull for her, but yeah, okay.
Maybe.
So yeah, so I got her. I built her a little bit on my Asia account, my main account, and she's really fun. The meow meowing when you're cat boxing is pretty great. The climbing up walls is pretty great. I don't really feel, she kind of feels like Yanfei to me. So she feels like she's cool. She does damage, but like that's it. Like, I mean, she has the shield and she does the cat box thing. But the cat box thing, I haven't like fully experimented. I haven't watched people's builds on her yet. But like, I'm assuming you can like throw things like Kaya's ult and Kuki and like just throw a bunch of things on your character so that
Yeah,
you can
she's
do a bunch
Sayu.
of stuff.
She's basically Sayu with Dendro.
Right, like a Dendro Sayu, a Dendro Sayu with like a similar elemental skill, where she can just like put a bunch of stuff on her that are like auras, and then she can run around and into stuff and do damage. But like, it's kind of underwhelming. I mean, it's very 4-star, like it feels like a 4-star. So it's fun. She's fun. Her design's great, but I just like, I'm curious to see where she comes up later, like, you know, halfway through Fontaine with the new characters, or maybe at 5.0. Like, what kind of, like, is she still being played? Like, is there better things? Does she feel like a special niche? Like, I'm really curious to see in the future where she comes in, because right now it feels to me like, yeah, she feels like another Sayu. Like, what else is she supposed to do? So anyway, yeah, and she has the burst.
Very well-rounded. It's a Dendro shield.
Yeah, and she has the
it's
she has the burst
also-
where she makes the little cat bombs.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily like Dendro cores, but it's like
Mhm.
her unique ones.
Right.
So I don't know if it will actually help her interact with the Hydro effects later on. That might be different, or different characters that maybe aren't meant to do more bloom effects. But I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing when Kuki came out. We didn't see her like as really good when she came out. Then suddenly like all these other characters came out, and now she's good because the context of the new characters and the new meta, all the new elemental interactions. So she could be good in the future going into Fontaine with like Hydro and Dendro mixes. But it's just weird that she doesn't make specifically like Dendro cores. Her ability makes her own unique ones. So I'm not thinking she's gonna be really good or broken with new characters. She's just still gonna be really good by herself if you don't
Yeah.
have like a good shielder character.
Yeah,
at this point.
she just takes like a lot of screen time, I think, like having to like be out in the field to do the cat box. But if you don't use the cat box, then she just becomes like closer to Yanfei, like does some damage and stuff. But obviously Yanfei is a catalyst user who has like fire, so maybe they're not exactly the same, but I get the same vibes, like because her burst maybe is like very similar. But yeah,
Well,
I wonder where she'll
if
be.
anything, she would be good as just the Dendro applicator, because she runs around. You can choose who gets affected by Dendro, and then you're done, and then you leave. It's kind of like Nahida, but Nahida you can literally use your skill, and
Yeah.
everyone in your screen gets affected.
Well,
So
even
that's
even
why
if
she's
she
the
doesn't do
Archon.
it, even if she doesn't do anything better than someone else, I mean, if she's fun to play, then I guess that's enough. The
Oh, she's a
designs-
fun character by
so,
far. I
yeah.
love the design. It's great.
So yeah, so if you love Kirara, playing Kirara, let us know. Let us know why. I'm really interested, because that is, she's a really cool character, and I'm just like, wondering what people think about her. So cool. Now let's get started to the bulk of our discussion today, our story events that we're talking about. So first is the Yoimiya Story Quest Part 2, Carastius Aratus Act 2. Okay, so Yoimiya Story Quest, it is the continuation of her quest that you actually had to do how can I say this? So we had Yoimiya Story Quest Part 1 during the Archon quest line in Inazuma. You have to do it to progress the story. And she was a really involved character, and now it's been a while since we've heard. Okay, so there is prerequisites for this. You do have to do the beginning part of the Aranara quest and unlock the Aranaras as like a as a concept, because until you do the Aranara quest, you can't even interact with them. So you have
Good
to,
luck.
Yeah, so
If you haven't started, oh my gosh.
yeah, well, you don't have to finish it. You just have to get to a certain point where the Aranaras recognize you as not a bad guy, and then you can actually interact with them. And then because of that, you're able to interact in Yoimiya Story Quest with Aranara, who do make an appearance. So, but I don't want to spoil anything yet, because if you haven't done the quest yet, I'm warning you now. You can skip this part of the podcast. I will put timestamps in the description if you have not done the Yoimiya Story Quest, and you just want to listen to the TCG Event Story Quest. And when we get to the TCG Event Quest, I'll also put timestamps there as well if you haven't done that yet when listening to this podcast. So, this is your spoiler warning. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's talk about Yoimiya Story Quest. Now, first things first, Kahi and I are going to be just pointing out different things from the story quest that we want to talk about, because we assume that you've done the story quest. So I'll go first. And the first thing I want to mention is, what I love about this story quest is that it really helps you to feel that Inazuma is progressing after the entire Archon Quest thing happened. Because up until now, we've had some Inazuma like events and stuff, but they all happen in Inazuma. They don't really involve other nations. Yes, they involve people coming to Inazuma and stuff, but we don't get to hear much about how Inazuma is developing as a nation after the entire direction of the country has changed since Raiden Shogun has become more of an active Archon in the role of Inazuma's development. So, that being said, it's really cool because Yoimiya at the beginning of the story quest says, people are coming to Inazuma, and some of us want to get out there and visit other nations, and so she wanted to go to another nation, and the Traveler and Paimon have been in Sumeru, and so they suggest Sumeru, and they refer multiple times to the fact that they have connections in Sumeru because of the things in Sumeru that they've done. So it's a really cool the Traveler, basically you can feel from this quest that the Traveler helped Inazuma. They went to Sumeru, did the stuff in Sumeru, came back to Inazuma. Yoimiya's like, hey, I want to go out of here. And you're like, hey, well, we just came from Sumeru. There's a bunch of cool stuff there. You want to come there with us? Like, we know a bunch of people there. And then you convince her to go to Sumeru, and you go together. And I thought that was, super cool because, as, we don't want to forget about these nations that we, helped and gone through all these things with, and all these characters that are important to us. So it's really cool. I'm really excited for more Story Quest Part 2s from these other characters in different nations, because we get to be the Traveler that we are, after going through all these events. Because when we first met them, we were totally different, right? We knew less. There was different things going on. But now, we have some time to go back, and we can use our experience in the interaction with the characters. Like with Yoimiya, how we're like, hey, we did all this stuff. Let's tell you about it. And to that point, the last thing I want to bring up on this point is that I love this. Yoimiya goes, hey, weren't you looking for your sibling? How's that going? And I was like, oh my god, someone mentioned that we're looking for it. That is the whole point of this damn game. The beginning, we're going to every nation.
At least someone remembers.
Right? It's we're just like, hey, have you seen my sister? Hey, have you seen my brother? Hey, have you seen my sibling? And then you just kind of don't talk about it again. And so I love that Yoimiya does it. And then you even tell them that Paimon says, yeah, we did meet them, and they said that they're gonna wait for us at the end of our journey or something like that. I was like, oh my god, they're quoting what the sibling said. This is amazing. So anyway, that blew my mind. It made me feel like Genshin was coming together, the story, the world really feels like it's progressing, your character is growing, they are experiencing these things. It's not just us playing through quests. I really like that part of the story quest. So do you have anything to add to that, Kahi?
So what I like about these past 2 patches specifically, it feels like a big victory lap. big victory lap of, hey, everything in the big problem now was solved, and now we're just trying to checking back up on everything that
Oh
we've done
yeah,
so
yeah,
far,
yeah.
seeing the effects back there, back in Mondstadt, back in Liyue, back in Inazuma. Like, hey, how are things there before we go to the next big area? To let them know that, hey, they are coming along too. Like, hey, those characters may show up as well. Those characters still have this thing going on. This event is still kind of wrapping up, and that's gonna start to kickstart a new generation or new era in their like history or their development. Like you said, Inazuma especially
Yeah.
was a closed off nation, now is opening up. Now the people are going out of the nation exploring. There's people are going to like Liyue more often. People are going to Sumeru of all places. And now we know how they get there. Because there is actually a boat or a path for a boat from Inazuma to the southern part of Sumeru's Port Ormos. It's
Mm-hmm.
outside the map, but obviously it's not like some weird like uh cataclysmic phenomenon where you can't just sail through it. It's not like Inazuma before, where there's a storm that prevents boats from going there. But you can actually now see that, oh yeah, there's totally just a lane of trade. Boats can go from Inazuma to Port Ormos very easily. So
But we don't have that revealed on the map, so
no, it's not revealed.
yeah.
So
So
you can't
like,
just swim there.
well, like I'm curious, right? Like, is there something there that like we just weren't made aware of in terms of like they passed by it on the boat? Is it really, is that space underneath, like to the right of Port Ormos and even under Port Ormos? Like, is that all blacked out space? Is that just water, or is there like, is there a structure there? Is there islands there? Like, we have literally no idea. All we know is that you can get a boat from Inazuma to Port Ormos for sure. So, like, there is a way to get there, but
So
we
that's
don't have a
definitely
way
good
to
to
see it.
solidify. Yeah,
Yeah.
good clarification on that part. But yeah, I like these, these reminders. Like, I feel like this is a great formula for every major like year in Genshin. Like, so when Inazuma was done, you got to visit all the characters again to like, go do one last interaction with them to say, hey, how's it going after, the whole Watatsumi Island war and battle, or how about what's the island like now since like A is no longer keeping everyone in this constant state of eternity.
Right.
Oh hey, you got your vision back, which is great. um I like these things because it reminds people of what happened in the past. People who have either completely forgotten or are new to the game can also really like experience and see, oh hey, this nation used to be like this. See, it's constant reminders. It doesn't let things that happened in the past stay in the past. It lets people really feel like it's the whole world is having something happen at the same time. Because a lot of games, what they do, I guess I would say it's wrong. What they do wrong is that you have year one comes out, and year two, year three, year four, year five says absolutely nothing about what happened in year one.
Right.
So like everyone completely forgets, or it's completely irrelevant. Or sometimes newer stories act like year one or year two didn't even happen. So
Yeah.
I really don't like that.
Destiny.
But yes, yes.
Sounds like Destiny to
Oh,
me.
Destiny. Oh, Destiny.
But you know what that
Destiny.
actually reminds me of too? Do you
Yeah,
watch
go
the
ahead.
Marvel movies?
Not the new ones. I watched like I was religiously following it until Endgame, and I'm like, okay,
I
this is a
see.
great way to end the story. And then now they
And it
want
just
me to
kept
watch like
going.
10 other
Yeah.
movies, and I'm like, no, I'm
And
good.
like
I
TV
watched the
shows
really
and
good.
stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Uh,
So what's funny then? What's funny then is
mhm.
that for those of you that watch and keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe even up until now, um, it's known enough that all of the works that were made after that, basically during COVID, were all done kind of as like separate jobs that were all filmed at the same time. And apparently a lot of the stories just don't reference each other, right? So it's like big things are happening in different parts of the world, but we don't have the same continuity that we felt during the entire the entire series of movies up until Avengers Endgame, because like those were made like yearly and they kind of continued off of each other, so like you could watch it as like one long continuous story. But these other ones, you can kind of just watch them in any order, and they don't really reference each other that much. And there's one thing that's like I think is so funny. In the movie The Eternals, they or Eternals. I don't remember if there's a the. In that movie, there's this huge thing that happens where basically like a giant celestial being is like coming out of the earth. Like the earth is like an egg for the celestial being, and they're like coming out of the earth. And so like there's like these giant hands of like this monster coming out of the earth, basically. I mean, not monster, but creature coming out of the earth, and then they freeze it, and it's just there. And so now those hands are coming out of the ocean. They're gigantic, basically land masses, that are sticking out of the earth, and nobody has said anything about it in anything until since then. And it's been 2 years, 3 years already, and everyone's like, what about this?
Goodness.
What about this giant change to the earth that happened that nobody seems to mention? It's not even in like the background in like a news report. You know what I mean? It's just not mentioned.
I have to tell you this. Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
I did not play it enough. No, I didn't play it a lot.
Okay. For the few that might have actually played World of Warcraft, they might know exactly what I'm going to bring up. Okay, so this was acknowledged by the game devs too. So like, I would say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a big event where like, kind of like this, a celestial titan literally stuck a sword and stabbed the planet. The sword was stuck in the planet. You could see it in the zone. You could go in the game, log in, go to the zone, and you saw a giant sword in the planet. And that kickstarted the next expansion. And then the next expansion after that happened. And then the current expansion. All of those expansions, the sword's still just stuck there. And no one mentions it at all.
Oh my god, it's literally the same thing.
But here's the funny part. When the devs were being interviewed for like the newest expansion, one of the community questions was, hey, so is there anything going to happen with that sword that's stabbing the planet right now? And the game director said, sorry, what sword?
Oh my god. That's terrible.
He knew the joke. Like, they are all aware of the joke. They couldn't fit it in any of the
just like, you know, it's
hilarious.
He knows, you know what I mean? It's just like
scratching his head.
So
like,
funny.
What sword?
I'm sorry, like what? There's a giant sword sticking out of our planet? I had no idea. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so like that. Like the feeling of the lack of continuity can ruin good world building and progression of story, but like Genshin is finally putting some of that, injecting some of that into the story quests and things that we are experiencing by letting us reference what we've already done, and like and characters we've already met way back when, and kind of getting to show, like, we get to show Yoimiya how much we've grown since meeting her in the story the first time. That's basically what it comes down to, right? We're not just like what's it called, like, we're not just interacting with her and being like, oh, hey, yeah, I know you. Okay, let's go do a quest. It's like, hey, how have you been? You know, like, that's such a big deal. And so, yeah, I love that part of this quest. Now the other...
It expands the world, too. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason why she's exploring. There's a reason why she's out of Inazuma, because, oh, hey, the Sakoku decree, or just the lockdown is done. Now we are going to expect to see Inazuma characters in places they normally weren't. So it reminds people, yes, these things are going to happen. You can expect to see more people. You can expect to see that the world will keep, expanding in meaningful ways. It's not just to bring a character back that we haven't seen in a while. Otherwise, we'd see Eula all over the place. But if we have just this one character from a nation that was so secluded on the farthest away nation right now, then yeah, the world's getting bigger.
Yeah. So, like, first of all, I love that, and I hope it keeps going. But the second thing I wanted to mention was, okay, so Aranara, right? Let's get into this, the main part of this quest real quick. The Aranara, who have now allowed Yoimiya to see them, and they cite Yoimiya having this, or to cite the Aranara, they have like, Yoimiya has not grown up yet. I like how they mentioned, like,
childish wonder.
Yeah, like, she is so pure. Like, she's pure of heart, pure of intention, and another reason why she's best girl, just saying. But like, she is able to just like navigate through this like fantasy situation that just happens in front of her, and I love that the traveler just decides, you know what, like we gotta share with Yoimiya, like yo, this is like Arnara are real and stuff, and then they go into this whole dream in a dream world sort of situation, and Yoimiya realizes it, and she does that whole thing. That cutscene, amazing, Kahi. Like that was such a good
I
cutscene.
love that cutscene.
Oh my god, like
Okay.
beautiful. So, it's just so cinematic. It's very very fun, and yeah, I think that it was really it's, oh my god, the girl when she like stands up to like walk, and you know she's like able to walk again. It's very emotional, of course, but it was just a really cool way to kind of bring the freedom and wonder and dreaming and, you know, kid like, you know, I don't know, purity to like this part of the this part of the story.
Innocence.
Yeah, it was great. Do you have any thoughts on that, on like the Arnara and like and their involvement in the story?
Here's the thing. I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is actually a pretty rare occurrence. Can you name some other characters, playable characters, that has had physical contact with the Traveler?
Physical contact? Xiao.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Zhao. Okay.
Uh-huh. Ayaka.
Yoimiya. Ayaka. Wait, Ayaka?
Yeah, I feel like Ayaka grabbed the Traveler's hand or something at the end of her story quest or something. I don't know for sure.
I don't think so. She was dancing. They had a distance. It would make sense why they would, but because they were like literally a date. But
yeah.
Okay, so I know Shenhe.
Oh yeah, Shenhe, right?
Yeah, because when he got blasted into the rocks, she picked him up. Okay, Shenhe, Zhao, Yoimiya, Toma, because you know got you out of the way, carried you off. And you had to help him away.
Wait, why are you asking this? What's your line of thinking?
This is a very rare occurrence. No one just interacts with a Traveler to this.
How dare you touch the Traveler?
I know it's funny, but it's also interesting because
they
are very selective with how they interact with the Traveler, and because Traveler is some like interdimensional being. I don't know if that is significant in any way, but no one really like physically interacts with the Traveler on this kind of level. Like, so we carry Yoimiya. That's a big deal. He never does anything like that to any other characters.
Yeah.
So it's either gonna. It's nice that they're either trying to like make the Traveler, show a closer relationship with the characters. They're getting more, I guess, bold in how he interacts with characters as well. But it's not a very common thing, that people get to physically interact with this person.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to alter anything, or I don't know if this is going to. It's just something that was on my mind because, like, for Ether to carry someone. I've never seen that for either to like get their hands at all in any way, form on someone. I was trying to think, did he carry anyone else? Did he do?
I mean, Xiao carried him, jealous? But no, I mean, like, yeah.
I know Xiao, but like, cause he's a yaksha, he has like some weird mystical background. That's just one of the things I noticed. But as far as like the dream within a dream state, right? First of all, like the reason why they had to go into a dreamlike state is because they really wanted Yoimiya to see like the fireworks or the comets that were gonna cross over Sumeru, but they weren't actually going to happen. So we met Nahida very early on, and Nahida was saying, "Oh well, you can't really predict these kind of things, and because just of how special they are." So okay, now we have to come up with a plan. So the whole plan was to like go around and find some special ore. This is all just make believe pretend, by the way. We're trying to find some ores to like create some special lens to see this spot where you can actually see the comets, but that was all just a fake dream. So from the transition from the real world to the dream world with the help of the Aranara was absolutely seamless. There wasn't like a portal, there wasn't some like phase, you didn't see like some weird like mystical like effects in the air. It's just suddenly like the girl could stand up. Suddenly you saw the fireworks and the stars and everything. But yeah, that whole sequence was just beautiful. It's on YouTube, right? They officially uploaded it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they did.
It better be.
Okay. Oh, it better be. Yeah, this is one of those really nice cutscenes. But yeah, it's a whole like emphasis and like highlight of the childlike wonder and imagination that this game is really meant for. You gotta keep reminding yourself. I remind myself too a lot. This game is not built for like 30-40-year-olds. This game is built really for like a young generation, a young audience. So if we have,
I
if we
guess
have,
so.
I have it a lot. I have criticisms on the storytelling. I have criticisms on like, oh, they would never do that, or why would they say it like this? It's so childish. Well, oh yeah, this game's meant for children.
Or maybe it's meant for a little bit of everything, right? Because there's a lot of
Oh yeah,
dark
it is definitely.
themes in this story,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Genshin in general, right? So, but I see what you mean. Like,
It's not for one type of audience. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not only for
it's
the
not
mature.
for one. It's not for just the hardcore mature fantasy enjoyer. It's like there's a little bit of everything for everyone. If you want to look into it, it gets really dark, but it doesn't have to be, right? It's not as in your face, but yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing to point out, I think. So anyway, did you have any other favorite things from Yoimiya Story Quest you want to bring up, or anything you worth mentioning?
The highlight, the one thing worth mentioning. Let's see. I mean, Nahida appeared in the beginning, but didn't really need to bring it. I mean, she was just kind of there to kind of explain why we had to go on this quest in the first place. Because otherwise, it would have just been, oh, hey, let's go see the fireworks. Oh, hey, let's see the comments. Okay, we're done. The Aranara are definitely more important to the land than I led on to believe, because I thought it was just like some world quest about like the ancient, beings that were there. I didn't really think much of them at first, just because they're just tiny little plant people. But obviously they're like the protectors of that whole forest.
Right.
If anything, I'm gonna have to start reminding myself, if we ever get into Fontaine, even like the littlest quests could be very significant in the long run, or like to like the health and history of that world, of that nation, actually.
Right.
So I should probably keep a closer eye on like what little details or what little characters that pop up along the way, because they're gonna pop up and I'm gonna forget why they're there, and I'm gonna forget why it's significant, because the Aranara to me don't look significant, but obviously after all this time, now we know that, oh yeah, they're pretty important. But what about you? What's your favorite thing, or was most memorable thing from Yoimiya's quest?
I mean, like, just the things I brought up, because I mean, I love Yoimiya so much, and just seeing how she gets to be one of the first characters to bring us that continuity that we talked about, to give us like a really cool cutscene we don't get to see often, like where, like you said, the traveler physically interacts with someone. That is, I didn't even think about that, but that is not a normal occurrence. And so yeah, I really enjoyed the whole quest. I mean, obviously there's the element about the kid having to grow up, and then also like having to deal with reality of not being able to walk anymore. And yeah, I just think it was a really cool way to tie in the Aranara. It's so surprising that like Yoimiya comes to Sumeru and that's what happens. Like that's what she deals with. But it was great. I was not expecting it, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I think I can't wait for more Story Quest Part 2 from other characters that we haven't seen in a while, especially when it comes to Mondstadt, because it's been a really long time since we've seen Mondstadt Story Quest, I think. But yeah.
I mean, I like how these, especially the story quest for the characters, they call back to all the other characters that we've met in the past. Especially in that one particular patch, sometimes they have like crossovers where someone from this nation, and then you have someone from a completely different nation involved in their personal character story quest. But like, it's especially this late into the 3.0, as we transition to the next one, it's a reminder of, hey, remember all these characters that you met along the way? They're still here. Remember all these places you've been to. Remember all the connections you made, all the stories you've solved. What I like about the TCG Event Quest is that it literally did the same thing. It outlined what you did from Mondstadt to Liyue to Inazuma to Sumeru, and we introduced a new character. So who is the new character that we met in the TCG Event Quest, Josh?
Oh, are you talking about Kirara? Oh, I'm just kidding. Also, Charlotte.
Charlotte, yes.
So we had two new
Is
characters,
she
right? One new playable and
Yeah.
one new not so playable yet. So, is she what? What were you saying?
Is she like French? Because I know like throughout the TCG Event Quest, when Charlotte came up, Kaya said like what do you say? Ishante? Ishante, like a greeting, and then someone in Liyue referred to her as Mademoiselle. I'm like, is that French?
I mean,
That is
so
French, right?
Fontaine's like base is inspiration is France from what we understand.
Right.
Including to the other NPCs we've met as well, and some of the other NPCs we've talked to. So, but yeah, it was nice to see a little bit of French in there during the quest when people were talking to Charlotte. So, Charlotte was, Charlotte's here with us, and I think it's really cool that they did a lot to kind of reference Fontaine, but not quite yet. So before we get started talking about the event quest story in its entirety, I just want to give another spoiler warning to those that have not finished this quest yet. So if you have not finished the TCG event quest yet, feel free to come back later. If you want to skip this part and go straight to the community question discussion, I will put the timestamp in the description. But here is your spoiler warning for the TCG event story. So I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's talk about Duel, the Summoner Summit, this patch's main flagship event, which is based around the Genshin Invocation TCG. So Kahi, we were just talking about Charlotte and Kirara, and you mentioned that we go through all 4 nations: Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru. So, what are some memorable things from this story? What did this make you think about? Like, what are some things you're wondering about? Like, tell me some of your thoughts.
I like how clever it was to make an excuse to revisit every nation and talk with all the important people from each nation. As like, I mean, even though it's a part of an event, it's like, I call these things like, transition stories or transition patches, because it's a reminder that these stories are overlapping over time and they're referencing things that are going to happen in the future and the past. So as far as like Mondstadt goes, everything started in Mondstadt, and you heard about a card thief or card snatcher. So you're basically trying to go to every single nation and find like where this card snatcher is, and then you find out that there's more of them, and then eventually all of it leads into like going into Sumeru where you find them. And so the basic plan was for these card snatchers to secretly communicate with all the other treasure hoarders through like some new special card back that you could reveal like secret messages with. But the problem was that some of the treasure hoarders got addicted to the card game and started trading away those cards or like gambling it away,
So
and started
funny.
to like lose their money. So get all disorganized. I think that was great. Like the very method that they used to communicate and like start like their whole like revolution or whatever corrupted them in the most comical way possible. I love that. But yeah, that's just, I mean, that is kind of like the basic plot line. But along the way, you're meeting some characters that you haven't seen in a while, like Ching, for example, or like Kokomi when you're in Inazuma. I think my favorite part was when they're in Inazuma. Like, what was your favorite part? Like, which nation did it happen in?
I mean, the Inazuma part was definitely the most interesting to me because of the whole, again, so this is what I love about these quests coming at the same time. And like you mentioned earlier, we get to see how people are doing, right? So we see how the two once enemy armies, generals, you know what I mean? Like Sara and, Kujo Sara and Goro interacting with each other, talking about the Kokomi versus Kokomi versus Yaimiko, like TCG stuff was super interesting to watch, because in the end, basically, yes, they were fighting against each other for a while. Yes, there was a lot of things that there was high stakes, but now they are as one people, right? And they're on the same side. And Kokomi also is trying to like become sort of reintegrated into Inazuman society as not just the Watatsumi person way off in the corner whose island you can't even see from Rito Island or whatever, but also just that she like is there and is showing up. She's not like hiding, even though they like technically won. I don't even know how to explain that, but yeah, like the war is over and the people are coming together for something like this, something enjoyable. And yes, there's politics involved, but it was really cool to see how they have progressed since then. So I mean, Inazuma, that was like a really cool part for me, for sure.
Like how, especially Inazuma was definitely my favorite because they had their own little mini tournament, and all the other places the tournament was done. But in Inazuma,
all right. Well, we missed the other tournaments. Like we were there when they hadn't finished yet, but then we were busy dealing with card thief stuff, and we ended up missing it. And Paimon's like, I definitely want to see it this time, and then we saw it, and then we get to Sumeru, and Sino's like, I already won. So good.
Of course he did. It's Sino, but I do like how during like a quest or like a text dialogue, one option was to literally just start playing the card game. Did you ever play Witcher?
Oh yeah, like you're gonna talk about Gwent?
Gwent, yeah, because that's like a dialogue option. Like you're talking to someone, you're trying to interrogate them, but you could also say, you know what, let's settle this over a game of Gwent. So you could actually use the card game to actually like pick how the dialogue is gonna happen after that.
Right.
So now you were talking with Ito, and Ito was like, oh hey, all you need is like the most strong, more powerful cards. Like no, you have to have skill and strategy. And so we actually had to use his deck to like battle against him while he was using, I guess, Cookie's deck.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to use my own, but did you win that duel or did you lose?
So I did not, and I heard that like the only difference is that like if you win during that little part, then kind of Cookie just says something like, oh, like you're really skilled or something like that, just like a dialogue change. Otherwise it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Much. But yeah, it was difficult for me.
I did not win that one.
Yeah.
Because I was not used to those cards. They were all different elements. I know elemental interactions actually help. They do a lot more damage. I'm just so used to using like, mono element decks because every card will be relevant. Every card will help.
Oh, you use mono element decks?
Yeah, like it's either going to be all Geo or all Electro.
Interesting.
That's what I like to use.
Okay.
Because every card I pull, I can use. Or every card I pull, I can put on a character. Or like I don't have to like switch and then it's gonna be.
Interesting.
Then I can use it later on.
Okay.
I like the active use of the cards. I don't like the feeling of pulling a card and feeling, oh wait, I can't use this. I don't like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was probably the reason why I like Inazuma the best, because you got to participate. The one thing that I probably, what am I forgetting? Oh, Hu Tao.
Oh my god,
Hu Tao
yes.
In Liyue.
Hu Tao and Kazuha, man.
Oh man, they're great. Because they do like their poetry, their rhymes. But the reason why I want to bring this up is because when Kirara came up and said, hey, you have a package. Oh yeah. Yes, I ordered this. Oh, how do you feel about transporting things that are like maybe people, or what about like dead or alive, or maybe something in between dead or alive?
Oh my god, so
what
sus.
Are you trying to get me to
so
like,
sus.
transport?
Chi-Chi.
Oh yeah, she was mentioning a helper. Is Chi-Chi the helper that she was talking about? Oh, I usually have my helper go and fetch these things for me, but...
Oh, no, it can't be Chi-Chi.
Is that Chi-Chi?
No. I'm just joking, because, like, the whole, like, she wants to let Chi-Chi pass on kind of thing is, like, her whole deal.
Oh, she was probably talking about Zhongli.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably. But can you imagine if, like, Hu Tao had, like, a subordinate? Or, like, a kohai?
Oh, my god, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be crazy.
And they were playable? That'd be awesome.
That'd be good. I mean, if there was another Liyue character coming out, maybe it could be related to Hu Tao. I hope. Yeah. Because Hu Tao mentions another person. I mean, anytime like a playable character mentions like another person like off screen,
yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's a hint.
Chance, yeah, but there's a chance it's a hint for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I like this event.
I like the when we go to Sumeru, like I said, Sino. So someone pointed this out that it was really funny that the first version of Sino that most people meet is his is his serious side because he's the General Mahamatra, but the first version of Sino that Charlotte meets is his funny side, right? Like she gets to meet him when he's telling the jokes and he's just chilling with the traveler, and she appreciates some of the wordplay because she's a writer, a columnist, and then
Yeah, figuring
you
out titles for articles. Yeah,
so it was so good. That those interactions are great. Like Sino, really brings like a lot of lightness to the mood. Even though like he can be really serious, like he's just really great for balancing.
I just remember the detail. Sorry, hold up. When, because I play the game in Japanese audio, so when Charlotte came to Inazuma, and you're introducing like one of the first people there, the first person you introduce her to was Raiden Shogun, but because it's in Japanese, so the words that Paimon uses to like introduce, Raiden is Kami-sama. That's basically
God.
God. So she literally just casually introduces God to Charlotte.
Yeah, yep.
And Charlotte freaks out like, "You're the Archon!" Like, I'm so sorry.
That was great. There were so many great little moments in this across all the characters from all the nations that it was just really, like you said, it's like a celebration of what we've done up until now. And I think that was it's a great thing to do before we start moving into a new nation.
Victory lap.
Yeah, well, like what I would love to see is like if they, I'm sure they're gonna have to balance going back and forth between all the nations with story quests, like extra quests. Obviously, the Archon quest kind of goes in one direction, but then like when you have to go back to do like maybe a new character from Mondstadt comes out, so we have to go do their quest, or a new character from Liyue comes out, so we get to go back. Like Baiju just came out, right? So we got to go to Liyue for his quest, and it didn't really matter what was going on in Sumeru or in Inazuma. So, going forward, I'm really curious to see how they balance adding Fontaine. Like, are we gonna not see Mondstadt for a while? Are we gonna not see Liyue for a while? Like, or are they gonna like really balance it out well, and then have us kind of bouncing between all the nations, learning new stuff as the world is growing, and as we as a traveler are growing and learning more things about Teyvat. So I'm really curious to see how that ends up checking out. But this event was super fun. Obviously, there was which was your favorite little puzzle? Mine was the gears, like the gear puzzle. I love that puzzle.
Oh, that one was good.
Yeah. Which of your
also had to like switch the plates.
Right. So which of the events was your favorite?
Honestly, it would probably have to be that one.
Yeah.
Because it was a good mini like brain puzzle. Because you had to like, you have a limited amount of cogwheels. You had like some parts of the board are actually like are traps. Like you're actually not supposed to put anything into this one little peg. But the previous one had levels like height. You could adjust the height.
Yeah, I don't miss
this
that.
one you had to adjust just like sections. So I think I kind of like the height one better.
Oh really?
Although sometimes I like the height one better just because it looks like a more like intricate contraption at the end of it. But this one is just like a big plate. I guess maybe it's just a presentation of it. But one of the reasons why I like this one too is because of the reward. You actually get something placeable in your teapot.
Right. Oh, true.
So you get a more tangible reward rather than just here's some event currency. Nice. But this one's like, hey, you remember that time you did this? Or hey, if you need something to decorate your house, here, put this in it.
Here you go.
I like that. This is really good. So yeah, I guess it was more rewarding. The other one was okay. What were they? There was that. I'm surprised there was not a camera event. I'm shocked there was not a camera event.
We're not in Fontaine yet. We're not in Fontaine yet. This is a TCG event, man.
I know, but if you wanted to like revisit everything and like double check on everyone and make some memories, camera, hello. Charlotte is a reporter. She has a camera and takes a picture at the end of it. You don't even get to see the picture.
Well, I also wanted to bring up how cool it is that like now when we invite people to the Cat's Tail, we get to go to a little like adeptal space.
Oh yes, I do like that one.
Yeah, thank goodness. I love that. It's much more interesting and thematic than like just going in the back room and dueling someone with cards, even though that's
Oh,
essentially what you're doing.
what is that bird's name?
Tubby.
Oh, Tubby. Okay, I had a brain fart just now. I know it started with a T or something, but not because teapot. But like I was trying to think of what the name was. Yeah, Tubby.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this event was pretty solid. It definitely brought some interest back into TCG by changing up the game so much, by adding so many new playable characters, so many new support cards, just a lot of new hype around TCG. The last thing that I want to mention is the story and how freaking sad it actually ended up being at the end with Gulab, and the creators of TCG, which is what led the Kirara storyline eventually led to. And yeah, it was really just really sad all of a sudden. Like,
I was honestly thinking it was gonna be some kind of clever plan. Like, oh, I'm gonna make a card game, and I'm gonna use that card game to do some like. I honestly thought it was gonna be like the Treasure Hoarders one, where there's gonna be something in the card backs, or the game is gonna be like a big distraction or some kind of like premise to like enable some diabolical plot. But it's just, oh, some guys made a game because they were friends, which is nice, which is still good. It doesn't have to be that important. But I thought for them to be like bringing up something as important as this and literally game changing as this, I mean, maybe it has more significance, but it's still good. But I was just going off on a whole tangent of like conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they did lead us one way and take us another way, especially when we found out like, oh, those cards the treasure hoarders were using were just to communicate, and then the only reason that they were trying to get them back is because they had accidentally given them away in the first place. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it definitely felt like there should have been something bigger. But I mean, that's the whole point. It was like kind of just like a run around. Like, the story gave you the run around. And those freaking the treasure hoarders that were like gonna murder Kirara. Like, oh my god, like, chill. You know
Well,
what
that
I
got
mean?
dark really fast.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. So that's why that's when I thought the story was like, oh, this is actually really serious, like the story. But actually ended up not being that serious. So yeah, it's very weird. It just shows you how weird that part is. So yeah, I don't know if I necessarily like that it like led you to think that there was some build up for something crazy that was gonna happen, and ended up being like a letdown in terms of scale of the actual operation that was happening. And then just to like flip it around and then say, here's a really sad story. Like, oh man, what the heck? But yeah, anyway, it was overall it was good. I enjoyed, like I said, going through the different nations. And hopefully we see some more interactions between characters of different nations. All I'm saying. So yeah, so let's move on then to our community question discussion. So we actually have two questions. We have from our Genshin Guys episode 44, and then we have from the interlude. So let's go first with the Genshin Guys 44 question. So Kahi, do you enjoy Genshin Invocation TCG? If so, what is your favorite aspect? If not, why not?
So yes, I enjoy it. I do like it. My favorite aspect is the unique card interactions. The card interactions, you can actually equip items to them. You can equip different things to unlock different effects, which affects your strategy. I do also like the mechanic where you can trade a card for a dice, which is really good because you can either, if someone's trying to predict like what your line of actions are going to be, you can completely change what they're gonna. I know you're battling against a computer, but like from a game design perspective, I do like how you can readjust the trajectory of your strategy in a way, because hey, I just needed one more element. I am okay sacrificing this one card to get an element dice. I like that. So you feel like you have very good control over the pace of your turn and the pace of the game. You definitely feel like you're making big moves. However, because of the game mode's like rewards, and because it's kind of treated as like a mini game, I don't play it a lot, like at all. Like when it came out, I got a good deck, I got all my characters and cards and animated ones, and yeah, I'm good. So I don't feel like I have to keep coming back to it. I only came back to this during this event. I haven't played the card game since it came out. So I like it, but I don't feel compelled or obligated to keep playing it for no reason. It's fun, but I don't need to. What about you? What's your favorite part of or aspect, feature, mechanic of TCG?
I like the so I enjoy TCGs in general. I enjoy like digital card games specifically because they do a lot of the calculating of additional damage, of, you know, equipment, all this stuff. Instead of having to use like physical tokens like you do in like a tabletop card game, the digital one does everything for you. So I've played a lot of Hearthstone, Marvel Snap, like these games where
Oh, I remember Hearthstone.
yeah,
I
like
played
those
that
those were
religiously.
so fun. And so Genshin Invocation TCG was really great. Is really great because it's those, but with Genshin, with characters I like, and you know, there's little stories and stuff around involving them. And I mean, I love the polish of the game. I love the art style. I love that mechanic, same mechanic you're talking about with the dice, like being able to sacrifice. Obviously, the RNG element is like twofold because you not only do you have to like n- uh, draw cards randomly, but you also get dice randomly. And so sometimes you can get really unlucky. so, so those parts are not as fun. But like, you know, there's, if you build a good enough deck, there's usually a strategy, to, you know, get out of a lot of those situations. So I enjoy how polished and how well thought out Genshin Invocation TCG is in general. So I'm really excited to see how it evolves over time, and I definitely will keep trying to play it and get all the cards and all that stuff. It's nice that it's not something you have to worry about. I know that you said, like, you know, the rewards are very whatever, but I'm just glad it's something you don't have to do with a gacha. Like, you can buy the cards you want right away if you just save up the points. You can get all of them eventually. There's a shop, you can wipe out the whole shop and get everything. That's nice. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that. But okay, so let's see what everybody else is saying. So first from the Discord, Meowie says, I don't enjoy TCG, but I play it because I like collecting stuff. I'm also not lucky with dice rolls. Yeah, so like I was saying, dice rolls are definitely not fun sometimes. Sarah Q, I enjoy TCG, but the pacing is just way too slow since each player is given too much time to think. Just give us a blitz mode where both sides can't play optimally. So, I guess that I can understand that. We are given a lot of time per turn, and if we were given a little less, it might force us to make decisions a little faster.
Oh, the anxiety.
Yeah, so interesting point. WL Forever Benna says, I enjoyed TCG so much when it just started, and it was all I played for a while until I got a little bored. Haha. I enjoy the chill aspect of it, and I'm glad we're getting new cards and events so I can get into it again. Peachy Oranges says, I enjoy it as I like TCGs, but thank God you don't gacha for cards. Cough cough Shadowverse. Yeah. Oh, I tried Shadowverse too, and I love it, but like I kept hearing about how the cards, like the power creep was real, and how like every new set of cards was like the must-have set of cards, and you know, it's all gacha. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad that it's not a gacha within a gacha. Solido says, I'm loving the summoner build, only started because Archons are coming shortly. Yes, so of course we so like he loves summoning like the cards that summon things, which is really cool. And then so this is obviously before the update, so Archon are coming, which they are in game now. Angel says, I love TCG and I'm really excited for this event. It will hopefully get me back into Genshin after Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, I think this did pull people back a little bit, which is cool. Camleon says, yes, when it first came out, that's all I did. I haven't played in a bit just because I've been overwhelmed with events and quests, though. I enjoy the different challenges that each NPC brings and how I have to adjust my hand according to who I'm playing. Thinking strategically is fun for me. Yeah, I think the adventure mode part of it is really interesting. Like, you can't play the adventure mode part the same way you would play a duel or the same way you would play against a person because the rules are different, right? Like, you can see what moves the enemy is going to do next. You can build your deck accordingly. There are special conditions, like at the beginning of every round, both active characters are afflicted with hydro, you know, like stuff like that. So that is pretty interesting. The Descender says, I'm AR44 and still haven't played it. Haha, mostly because I got lots to complete story-wise. Still in Inazuma. Oh, yep. Obviously, it's always there.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, no rush. So that's the cool thing, right? There's no rush. Like it's so chill. Like
It's a mini game.
You can play it whenever you want. Yeah. So
it does not give you any kind of game currency. Like it doesn't give you mora. It doesn't give you like
playing it lets you invest more into it. That's basically it. Which is like the more you invest into it, the more you get out of it. So it doesn't affect the rest of your Genshin experience to any major degree. Nabi says, I love TCG sometimes when I'm over playing Genshin. I just play TCG. I love how you don't have to gacha for character cards. Haha, another sentiment about not gachaing for cards. Oh, so Solido came back and said, update after the patch. This game is solid. I'm abusing the summoners to grind all the cards, but I'm looking forward to trying more when the meta settles and I know what to buy. Nice. Insignia says, I enjoyed it for a short while when it first came out, even though I think I was pretty bad at it, but I focused on other things and now I feel it over my head when I try to get back into it. I'm not very confident in my ability to do anything that involves strategy to begin with, so I've been nervous to try. That said, I think having game modes like this or minigames in events actually makes for a really low stakes environment that helps me dip my toes into the types of games that intimidated me before, such as TCGs. I don't know if that's the case for anyone else, haha, but it looks like Hoyo is going to end up being my gateway into a lot of types of games I've never been able to enjoy in the past. And I think that's a really good point, right?
Yeah, what I like about this is, yes, what Genshin does very well over the course of all of their events and all of their minigames they've ever introduced, like whether permanent or temporary, they use the existing mechanics of the game, change the camera, change how you move, change like what you're actually like interacting with, to literally create a whole new game. They made Flappy Bird in this game. They made like a TFT in this game. They made like you know all kinds of tower defense kind of stuff. But they are really great at attracting
music games,
the attention of music game, rhythm games, right? They're really good at attracting the attention of people who play other types of games into this one, because while it is mainly like an open world like RPG game with a gacha system, frequently they change it up to make it play like every other game that's out there, with the only exception being the FPS. So it's like literally everything else, but it has no FPS mechanics.
Oh, just wait, it'll come eventually.
Oh man,
I'm hyped.
I doubt it.
I'm hyped for it. Bring it on.
If they didn't do it now, they're not gonna do it.
No, that's what the heck. That's not true at all. This game is barely getting started.
By now,
come on.
3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still at only half of the nations. Think about it. What if like Natlan is like a war zone and they have literal magic guns, and then there's a first-person shooter mode?
Probably Shneznaya.
Oh yeah, or Shneznaya.
If anything, it's gonna be Shneznaya.
All right, yeah. So I love that though. Let's see. Frostflake Cowgirl says, I play it quite a bit. I like the deck building options the most. I enjoy the weapons and artifacts being integrated part of it too. It's pretty flexible, so you can tailor your experience each time you play. Yeah, I agree. Retro Sky. I don't enjoy TCG a ton, mostly because I suck at the game, LMAO. I would love to get better and improve my deck, but it takes a lot of time, and that time can be spent on other stuff. Joe Scova says, I play TCG quite often as I enjoy the part where it's not entirely luck-based, yet still holds some random factors. I enjoy the strategizing and thought you have to put into each turn, accounting for your dice rolls, good or bad. Kelbo Baggins says, I like TCG. It is excellent for you when you want to just a low-stress time in Genshin. No running around, no monsters, just you, dice, and some cards battling it out. E-Girl Simp Uwu says, I have a time limit, why parental controls, but if I did, I would enjoy it more since the battles take so long. Oh, yeah, well, if you have parental controls on your device, then yeah, it takes a long time, and probably you want to do something else. Kazu says, I've never been a TCG enjoyer, it always felt overwhelming to me, so I was expecting I won't like Genshin TCG either. But it turned out I really enjoyed it and I was a little addicted for a few weeks, even though I'm not good at it. But after the first hype, I kind of stopped playing it, but it was always the same and the opponents became too hard for me. I see. Pimzo Balto, I like it, but my internet is crap and it takes super long to load. That's why I don't play it as much as I want to. Okay, well, interesting. That will change your ability to play it. So that's the last one in Discord for this question. Kahi, what about Spotify?
On Spotify, we have Octira, who says, while I don't dislike it, I just find it hard to justify spending my time playing a card game when I downloaded Genshin to be playing an RPG. Yes, it is mainly supposed to be an RPG, so it's going to be its main core audience, but I do like how they still cater to the little audiences out there just to either grab their attention for a short while. Maybe it's a good gateway into the rest of the game. Maybe some people don't like RPGs and they only like card games. So there's always that. Next up, Willow Bell. Not particularly. If I wanted to play cards, there are other card games I'd enjoy more. But I know many enjoy playing. I do feel they play for the rewards a lot though, and card collecting. Yeah, it is just something that people can collect. Some people just like completion, like, what are they called? Completionists. They like to just collect things. And then we have Kamisato. I haven't played it much, but is round based, which I don't like, and the TV I'm playing on is a bit too small and doesn't show everything. That's really annoying. Yeah, there's like little details, there's little, like, especially the dice on the right, the icon is tiny. So yep, that'll be it for the Spotify questions. Now, interlude question. What is your favorite historical event in Tevat? Josh, what is your favorite historical event in Tevat?
Oh, my favorite historical event in Tevat. Okay, this is my favorite just because of how interesting it is and like how much of an impact it left on the world. And it is Raiden Shogun slicing the snake god
I was
half.
gonna say that.
Ouroboros.
I didn't write it down because I
Yeah.
wanted to say it. Dang it. Yep,
Yeah,
same.
because I mean, think about it, right? It's so cool that
Mhm.
I mean, it just not only does it show the power of the Muso no Hitotachi, but also like you can feel it going to that island. There's a giant cut in half slice that
You
like
see
electrified,
it. Yes,
and
you actually see
yeah,
it.
you see the dead god's bones. Like it's such an interesting. I mean, it's dark, obviously. Inazuma's super dark, but like it has a lasting impression on the world. And you feel it. You have to go through it, and you have to travel through it. So yeah, I think that's one of my favorites, just because it stands out to me so much, and the idea of like seeing it happen is cool. So
It combines visual storytelling and environmental storytelling. It makes it part of the history, because you go there, you're like, whoa, what happened here? And then you actually learn what happened here, and then they say it, and then you learn about the history of that, and it naturally, like, it shows you the after effect, and then along the main story it tells you why, like what happened. I love that. Like, even from a map, you open the map, you see a line, like a missing, like,
yeah,
landmass here.
like this was cut very cleanly. Yeah,
That's how big it was. That's how big this thing is. Like, that's how long the slash went. It went to the shrine.
yep. Okay, well, I mean, so that we have the same answer then. Weirdly enough, that's pretty fun.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, so on Discord, there's not that many responses, so I'll just read them out. So Miaoi says Zhongli and Guizhong meeting by the Glaze Lilies and partying at the same place. That whole war is interesting for me. She says. So, yeah, I mean, after the Lantern Rite Festival, I was considering mentioning something from Liwei's history, but yeah. So Animal Strange says the Carabare event hits hard. The whole reveal that we're reliving our sibling's memory was a mind flip. Interesting. Yeah.
I love that. Like, you look in the mirror and you're the sibling. I love it.
Kind of scary. And last one is PC Oranges says depends if Yao Yao helps save a drowning man. That's it. If not, then when Sus Beidou happened. Yeah. So Yao Yao helping the drowning man was from the event, the Lantern Rite event. But then Sus Beidou, yeah. So the primordial albedo, happening. That was.
I was thinking Beidou. Like, when was Beidou ever sus?
No.
Like, what?
Beidou, B-E-D-O, not B-E-I-D-O-U. Sus albedo, Sus Beidou. So, but yeah, so albedo story is, I mean, everything involving albedo story. Durin on Dragonspine, just the previous versions of the current albedo. So interesting, I think. Hopefully we'll learn more about Gold in the future. Rhine daughter. But yeah, that's actually it. That's all the answers. So what about Spotify? Anything?
On Spotify, Octira says, I find it crazy that Zhang Li created the Guyun Pillars. Yeah, those big mountains in the ocean. Yeah, that's Zheng Wei. I can just imagine the amount of raw power and action that went into shaping something that large. Yeah, that's the Archon War for you.
Yep.
Next up, March 7th says, smacks hands down, I'ma say it, the creation of Kunizuchi. That's Wanderer, right? Scaramouche.
If they meant to say Kuni Kuzushi, then yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, Kunikuzushi. Yep.
Oh, is that what's
It's
written?
always... No, I think March... And then the person wrote Kunizuchi, but I'm pretty sure it's Kunizushi.
Kuni Kuzushi.
Sushi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like when...
Kuni
especially
Sushi.
Kuni Sushi.
Yes, that means
Kunizu
country sushi.
Country sushi. Well, anyways, moving on. We
Uh-huh.
have James, who says, the erasing of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Okay.
That's a
yes,
good one. Yeah.
That is a good one. So technically it is history. Technically it's not history, because
Yeah.
their history was erased. As far as like event, so yes, I like this answer. Okay, yeah, I like the answer. And then Kamisato says, when Skara went in this furnace thing and in Tarasuna,
Yep.
came back out. It was a very cold. Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, so when we met Scaramouche,
Yeah.
in Inazuma, oh yeah, that was a tense moment. All right, and that will be all our answers.
Okay.
Next week's question.
Okay, so for next week's question, here we go. If you were an NPC giving a daily commission to the Adventurers Guild, what would it be? Right? So, of course, don't pick the same thing that's already an existing daily commission. Try to come up with your own original one. I'm really curious, what kind of daily commission would you like to do or like to give? You know, it could be like ridiculously easy, or it could be unnecessarily hard, you know, whatever. I'm just really curious, what would you do? Okay, so let us know in the comments. You can reply to our Spotify question, our Twitter. You can just comment on the episode, on this episode's tweet. Or you can go into the Discord and go to the community question channel and type your answer there. Okay, so before we head out, we're going to do our one last wish segment. So in this segment, we're both going to pick one banner to roll exactly one wish on and see what we get. So Kahi, what banner will you be wishing on today?
Most likely the weapon banner. I mean, I can't be building a character right before like a new patch comes out and we have some new characters, so like I don't want to waste all my materials on leveling. But I definitely need a good weapon, because what is it on this banner? I'm pretty sure it's Yaimiko's weapon,
Yeah,
and a bow.
Yep, like and Yoimiya's, like I was telling you earlier. I got both of those in
loading
my
it up.
America account. I will also be wishing for the weapon, but for Yoimiya's weapon on my main account, which I do not have.
Alright, weapon banner roll. Would you like me to go, or would you like to go on behalf of Yoimiya?
I will go first on behalf of Yoimiya. And let's see. So, Thundering Pulse. Here we go. One wish. And it is purple. Ooh, purple.
You might win by default.
And I got the flute. Woo.
I actually like the flute.
Same.
I used it on Ayaka for a while.
He's on Ayato.
Alright, and now for my weapon. Let's see if it can compete against yours. It is blue, and so am I.
Oh.
It is a bow. It's Sharpshooter's Oath.
Woo.
Well, got some
I
star
got
glitter
you.
for that.
I got it this time, Kahi.
Alright, you win this round.
You win this round. Alright, so that wraps up the show for today. As always, thanks for listening, and if you have the time, please leave us a comment and a review. We'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Follow me on Twitter at JSideGaming. You can follow at Genshin Guys Pod. You can follow at Kahiao, Kahiyao. You can follow me on twitch.tv/JSide. And as always,
Ad Astra Abyssos.
星としてを目指せ
Enjoy.